Hello, everyone. Today, we are going on a very special detective journey. We're going to look closely at a fascinating devotional that asks a big, slightly mysterious question about what is really hiding inside our hearts. So if you're around 10 years old, or honestly, even if you are 110, this explainer is going to give you some incredible tools to figure out what matters most to you. We're going to uncover some hidden clues, look at a really cool sketchbook, and figure out how to carry the absolute best treasure possible. Are you ready to do some investigating? Awesome. Let's get right into it.
I want you to use your imagination for a second. Picture this. Imagine your heart isn't just a muscle pumping blood, but an actual physical backpack that you wear every single day. Now think about how a regular backpack works. When you're packing for school or maybe a weekend trip, you only have a certain amount of space, right? If you completely stuff your backpack full of heavy rocks, well, you literally cannot fit your lunchbox or your favorite jacket inside. There is simply no room left. The devotional we're looking at today uses a very similar warning, but it's about our hearts. It tells us that our hearts have a limited amount of space for the things we love. If we stuff our heart completely full of one type of thing, we push out everything else. So the big question we really need to ask is, what exactly are you shoving into your backpack?
Section 1. What fills your heart? Making room for the important stuff. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly what the devotional says is competing for that space.
The devotional points out an alarming fact, and when it says alarming, it means something we really need to wake up and pay attention to. It says that for a lot of young people, the love of the world completely takes over their minds. We can see a really clear comparison here. On one side, we have the things in the world. This means obsessing over fashion, constantly thinking about what we're going to eat next, or spending all our time on what the devotional calls frivolous and vain talking. Frivolous is really just a fancy word for silly, empty stuff that doesn't actually matter. Now, on the other side, we have the things of God. This means knowing the Father and having the graces of His Spirit, things like kindness, love, and patience. And this brilliantly illustrates our backpack problem. The devotional argues that if you decidedly love the world and stuff your heart full of empty jokes, showing off your clothes, and just chasing popularity, well, the love of God finds absolutely no room in your heart. You have filled your backpack to the zipper with worldly things, leaving literally zero space for God.
Section 2. The Great Distraction Trap. Don't get fooled.
So filling your backpack with rocks instead of treasure doesn't just happen by accident. The devotional gives us a very serious warning about a trap. It says Satan is gratified to have the attention of youth attracted by anything to divert their minds from God. Now, gratified just means he is really happy and pleased. You see, the enemy's entire strategy is distraction. He doesn't necessarily need you to do something terrible. He just wants you distracted by anything else. Video games, toys, clothes being popular. Just as long as you aren't looking at God. The devotional explains that this trap tricks young people into treating the precious hours we have on earth as just one grand holiday. A grand holiday means acting like we are placed in this world simply for our own amusement and fun all the time. But life is an important journey, and if we're just completely distracted by amusement, we forget our real purpose.
Section 3. The Heavenly Artist is Watching. The Ultimate Sketchbook.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it brings us to a beautiful, but maybe slightly spooky concept from the text. The devotional tells us that while we might be easily distracted, heaven is paying very close attention. It introduces us to the heavenly artist, who is making a thorough record. Think of it like a giant, super detailed sketchbook of our lives. Step 1, it records every single act we do. Step 2, it records every single word we speak. Yep, including all those empty, silly words we talked about earlier. But step 3 is where it gets really deep. It records our secret thoughts and our motives. It's not just a video camera watching what you do on the outside. It is a heart reader.
Let's define that word motive, because it is super important. A motive is the hidden reason why you do or say something. For example, imagine you share a giant chocolate chip cookie with your brother. The act is sharing, but what is the motive? Did you share it because you genuinely love him and want him to be happy? Or did you share it just because your mom was watching and you wanted to look like the good kid so you could get a bigger dessert later? We can totally hide our selfish motives from human eyes. Your mom might just see a nice kid sharing. But the devotional says these hidden reasons are easily discerned, meaning they are seen perfectly clearly by the all-seeing eye of Jehovah. It says every selfish act and false word is written down in living characters. God sees the real reason behind everything we put into our backpack.
Section 4. The Word and Act Test. Time to play detective.
So, since God can see our hearts, is there a way for us to figure out what is inside our own backpacks? The answer is yes, and here are the clues. The devotional states that our words and acts testify plainly what is in our heart. Think of it like a backpack that is so insanely full, things are literally spilling out the top. If you want to know what's inside, just look at what's spilling out. Here are the clues that your heart might be full of the world. Clue 1, you are constantly talking about fashion, dress, and your appearance. Clue 2, envious or jealous feelings keep slipping out in your words and actions. Clue 3, you are obsessing over what you're going to eat and drink. And clue 4, you rarely, if ever, talk about Christ or the kingdom of heaven. The devotional says that these things flow out from the abundance of the heart. Basically, if you only ever talk about food, toys, and clothes, well, detective, that is exactly what is filling up your heart.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, Seeking the Best Treasure, the Grand Aim in Life.
The devotional offers us an amazing solution here, so we don't have to leave our backpacks full of heavy, useless rocks. The text reminds us that people often make eating, drinking, and clothes their highest attainment. That just means the absolute biggest goal they have in life. But when they do that, they forget the words of Christ. So the crucial point is found right here in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Instead of making earthly stuff our biggest priority and stuffing our hearts with it until there's no room left, the devotional concludes that we should make God our top priority. It says that when you make God the absolute main treasure in your backpack, he promises to take care of all the other things you actually need.
And that brings us to a really important question I want to leave you with today. Imagine someone followed you around with a notebook and just listened to your words all day long. Based only on what spilled out of your mouth, what would they say is your grand aim in life? Would they hear you talking about God, showing kindness and seeking his kingdom? Or would they only hear about clothes, jokes, and yourself? It's a pretty powerful heart check, isn't it? Take some time today to think carefully about what you are stuffing into your heart's backpack, and remember to make room for the most important treasure of all. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible detective journey, and keep seeking first the kingdom.